The miserable story of the Congo. Somebody sent this to me. This is kind of an old video, but Congo low-key be getting exploited like fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Yo, Congo might be top 3 most exploited countries. What is the most exploited countries? I feel like they're gonna be all African countries. North Korea. I mean, exploited isn't like the whole world kind of takes advantages from like whatever the be going on in it. China. Okay, China, but yeah. I mean, but even China's better than like the fucking Congo, bro. Let's go to see this.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo, or DRC, or Congo, not the Republic of the Congo. That's a completely different country. Let's be honest, today it's an awful country to live in. The average Congolese holds about $500 and over 75% live in poverty.
Bro, 75% is diabolical, nigga. Holy fucking shit. Bro, how bad could things be going though, bro? Dead ass.
In a country of 90 million.
I wonder how much a house would be. Bro, you could probably dead ass like a mansion there for like $100,000, I feel like. You can get like a nice fucking crazy mansion just because like that many people are poor.
But wait, the
cheap.
DRC is abundantly resource rich. They have so many minerals and so much space to become an agricultural beast. Why are they so poor? It's exploitation. The people of the Congo have been exploited ever since, well, ever. As we'll see, the Congo has had one of the most miserable histories on this planet. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know whether to name this video the miserable history, life, or economy of the Congo. But it doesn't matter because all of those are true and they're all related. How were these people exploited and why is the DRC so poor nowadays? Let's start off in the jungles of Central
Europe. I mean, yeah, that's just facts, bro. I think it's so crazy though. There will be like, obviously like certain racist people out there. Oh, look at Africa. They're low IQ or something. So, I don't know, because you're black, you're born low IQ. Like that's literally what they'll say. And it's like, bro, they don't even take into account how much these countries have gotten fucking exploited, bro. But like niggas that came in there, colonized it, took their shit. Then they left. Then this is what's left with their country. And then that's why the majority of the people there have low IQs because they have no education, bro. That's why like whenever any other black or African person or whatever like exploited part of a country goes to a Western country with education, they end up being the same level or a higher level than the people there. Maybe it's not their race, bro. It's the fucking education. And they got fucked over.
Africa on the rivers of the Congo. There is a pre-colonial
They cut your hand off, you didn't get enough rubber.
Congo with a K. It lasted from around 1392 until 1862, almost 500 years of rule. If you think it was just the colonization of Africa that killed the Congo's chance of prosperity, you need to see this kingdom.
Nah.
The king...
It's a mix though. I don't fully blame, even though it's like a lot of it like colonization. It's definitely like the governments in Africa be corrupt as f. That's the problem. And like they need to be fixed. I don't know how they're gonna get fixed. The only thing is the people have to come together and fix it. But hey guys, Tom NFG here. You know, only half of you guys are subscribed and even less of you guys have noties on. I hate to be a burden, but you know, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and the little bell next to it. You know, it doesn't take long. I know you can get mixed up in the algorithm and everything. But yeah, also tune into the streams. You know, we have a lot of fun over there. I'm telling you, we have a lot of parties going on over there. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Damn.
Essentially made their fortunes out of taxing the ever-living souls out of their subjects. Any extra product the farmers or miners or builders or whatever made would be taxed for the king. The king upheld this by making a strong military force to fight neighboring tribes, but mainly to keep their population in check. The people of the Congo, like most others would, absolutely hated this and moved out of the larger cities where the king had the most power. This made a massive rural population too decentralized to become any larger power than it was. The farmers now were mostly working for subsistence rather than trade, but wait, me as the king cannot make an absolute golden fortune if I do not have rich subjects to extract the wealth from. Luckily, there's 2 solutions to this problem. The first is neighboring tribes, which the Congo had plenty of. The Luba, Lunda, Kuba, Kasai, and Kazembe people all lived here. You don't want to be taken over by them, do you? The king will protect you and save you from those barbarians, so people...
I'm telling you, bro, this shit get deep. Niggas don't understand, bro. There's racism in Africa, dude. This tribal shit get crazy, bro. They said, oh yeah, even though y'all are born in the same country. Oh yeah, no, it's because they're a tribe. Because they just say they're these people. You gotta get rid of them. That's so crazy, bro, that like, no matter what happens, bro, even if it's not like racism between like obviously exact different races, like in countries, bro, it's just, they're mad about tribes and shit. I mean, shit, it was the same thing in America where like, I would say like we're religion. Where like certain Christians would like hate Catholics. Bro, even like motherfucking in America, bro, people forget like the Irish were facing racism. Italians, like all these different groups, right? And then eventually that stopped happening, and then they went to other groups and shit, like black people and different things like that. Well, they were facing racism too at the time, but like, you know, they kind of like forgave Irish people and all the other white looking people, and then they moved on to everybody else. They don't understand, like, no matter what, you don't understand, even these people, if they got their way, like certain racist people, like, oh, okay, let's say you get rid of all the black people, the brown people, everything you want. Are you Italian, nigga? Because you might be next, bro. Is you Irish, bro? You might be next. Every other group, bro, you might be fucking less, unless you're that specific group that came when America was invented, which is probably like by now like 10 or 15% of the population.
Still had to be loyal to the king. The competition perhaps made the king slightly less exploitative than he would have liked to been, since there is such a huge incentive to take over the kingdom and extract the wealth for yourself. The second solution to the extraction problem is via slavery. Prisoners of war and bad subjects to the king would be made slaves and sold mainly to the Arabs through the caravan trade, part of the larger Indian Ocean slave trade. If you're the king of Congo and your subjects stopped bringing you wealth, they still had value to you by selling them. Ding dong,
that's crazy.
It's 1482, and that's the Portuguese at the door, and they want to trade. But
bro, your own people selling you out though is so insane, bro.
To adopt all of these new, more productive technologies, the people
crazy stuff like this don't really get mentioned in history. History books are too watered down. Nowadays, bro, there's basically no point in reading like school history books, bro. That shit is so dead. You just don't learn about shit. I mean, I feel like everybody's known, like, yeah, there was African leaders that would sell their people to slavery and shit. It wasn't all of them. There was a ton of like colonizers that would just come in, just kill the leaders and then take the people, right? But there was definitely leaders that was doing that shit, bro. That was complicit and they didn't care.
Might become richer and get some certain ideas. There's one technology the king gladly adopted though, guns. They only adopted the technologies that would let them stay in power longer and extract more of the Congo's wealth. The king, Nzinga and Nkuwu, changed his name to João I, and the Congo was becoming Christianized to work with the Portuguese better. In exchange, they gave the Portuguese their specialty, some slaves.
Nigga, that is, oh my god, no. Bro, could you imagine right now, like, a country moving like that? Just to show you, we want to be more friendly, we want to be allies. We'll give you some of our people as slavery. Nigga, what the fuck? Bro, that is insane. That's why I say, bro, it wasn't just colonization and shit, bro. These fucking scumbag, fucking demonic ass leaders. Just imagine that happening in modern times. Like, imagine America, they're just like, oh, we want to make allies, I don't know, with North Korea. They're saying they're going to calm down and be a more actual democratic nation. So we're going to give some of our people away to them and then, like, sell them into slavery. What the fuck?
That's a really healthy...
IQ was so low back then. It's not even that. It was just like, we didn't have the connections we have now. Like, this is hundreds of years ago. So, like, people didn't know about this. You only found about this, like, whenever it became common knowledge in history.
Society, right? A massive, now much more powerful military force using its power to take all of your extra work for an already rich king, and if you don't comply, you would be sold off to the Arabs or Europeans. Surprise, from losing significant amounts of their population to slavery and fighting with other tribal powers, the kingdom of the Congo was weakened significantly and taken over by the Portuguese, who didn't change much about how the nation was structured. Really, the only thing they changed was instead of the king taking everyone's wealth, it was them instead. It's the late 1800s now, and the Europeans are starting to get a little cocky. They started a massive rooster measuring contest to see who could build the biggest armies, navies, and empires. But there is one continent they left mainly untouched, Africa. They started scrambling for Africa, not because of its abundant resources, but mainly out of pride. They held a conference of a couple dozen guys to split up the continent of millions of people. What did they do with this chunk in the middle though? The British, French, Portuguese, and Germans all wanted it, but they already had enough, and getting it...
That is so insane, bro. Colonization time? I just don't understand. What was up with their pride back then where they were like, you know what? We got all of these lands. We need more. We need more, bro. We need to take this motherfucking random ass island here. We gotta come into this country, this country, this country. What was the point of this? It was literally, like he's saying, just a flex. Bro, when Britain had everything, bro, they eventually just started giving all the countries independence because they were like, damn, like, there's no point in having all of this. What was the point? And now all those countries fucking hate us, and the people hate us there.
Would have made one of them too powerful.
Granted, people also did fight for their independence as well. I'm not forgetting that. People had to fight for the fucking independence and get off of it.
They just gave it to tiny Belgium. Oops, did I say Belgium? No, they didn't. They gave it as personal property to the Belgian king, Leopold II. If his rule had to be summed up in one picture, it would probably be this. Leopold restructured the entire Congolese system to fit his agenda of extracting as much wealth as possible out of the Congo, like copper, gold, ivory, and especially rubber. But unlike the old kings and Portuguese who lived there and had to keep their people at least somewhat well off, Leopold had no incentive for that. His system was specifically designed to suck as many resources and labor as possible. His force publique loyalists from the Congo would roam around the country killing rebels or burning their villages.
Oh my god. It's something that extra pisses me off, bro, knowing the people there were complicit. Complicit in somebody coming in your fucking country saying, yo, I'm gonna give you some money, give you some nice shit if you go ahead and like motherfucking kill your people. Like your people. Kill your people, bro. And they're like, alright, it's cool. Just give me some money, give me a house, and yeah, I'm good with it.
Down to make the people
niggas sell out so
into
easily,
submission. Bro. Some of their atrocities are kidnapping families, killing those who didn't meet quotas, and most famously, cutting off their hands if they did not produce enough.
Yeah.
The people under this regime suffered, and even though it lasted only 23 years, is
Bro, 23 years is a lot. I haven't even lived 23 years of my life yet. I'm just about to live 23 years by next year of my fucking life.
In the Congo ever since Leopold's rule. Eventually, other European powers said something like, I mean, we're doing that too, but holy, you took it too far, man, to Belgium and pressured the parliament of Belgium to annex the colony.
Nah, bro, you know it's bad when even other countries like, yo, okay, like, look, we may be colonizers, but we're not villains. When the Europeans have a problem with it, you know it's bad, yeah.
From Leopold,
We're
which
villains,
they
not
did
monsters?
in 1908. Now it was a Belgian colony, but they continued more or less the same thing. The main difference is under Leopold, he had to pay for the Congo to function like a business, but Belgium did not want to subsidize the colony, and now the Congo is responsible for financing itself. With what wealth though? That's right, not much. As a result,
I was about to say, everything got exploited, bro. And this is like a lot of African countries, by the way. Obviously, the Congo is probably the craziest shit. But yeah, that's what I was saying, bro. People will literally use this for like fucking racist reasons, bro. These countries have no education, bro, because they got exploited for like hundreds of years.
Most infrastructure and social services were not provided by the state, but by foreign companies trying to get some minerals and by Christian missionaries. Some remnants from Leopold's days stayed, like focusing on cash crops rather than food production for foreign investors and forcing everyone to work at least 60 days on the farm a year. Most of the work was done through mining monopolies set up in different provinces of the Congo, like the SGB and UMHK. These companies were there for their own profit rather than the prosperity of the nation. At least they're the main builders of roads and rail for the nation, as they needed them to ship their metals off for processing. The Belgians ran the country with the thought that
they only got like infrastructure and trains. One advantage, the motherfuckers exploiting them. That is crazy. They said, all right, we're gonna build you guys a train finally, but just to ship us materials. Like, yeah, that's really it. So it's under control, but not even help monetarily. Damn, yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like even fucking Britain and shit would like give some countries and like manage them and help them monetarily, bro. They just said, fuck y'all, you're not getting anything.
Americans were children, stopping initiatives like schooling to let locals in the decision-making processes. As a result, the locals who eventually gained power were obviously pretty resentful of the Belgians and Western values in general, but there was still no political reform to get them into more authority. That didn't come until World War II, when after the Belgians were taken over by Germany, they realized that being conquered and subjugated was not that fun and liberalized the Congo a little bit.
So it's only when they felt it. I hate this mentality. Man, it's bad, bro. Man, now that I feel it, bro, I understand, bro.
Class was formed called the Evalves, who weren't rich by our standards, but by 1950s Congolese standards were much better off than average. The Belgians also tried and failed to make the Congo more industrialized through cutting off imports they needed so that they would force a domestic industry. Yet the Congo was still a very raw material export-based economy run by Belgian experts. But when will they get independent? Hold on in a bit. The rise of the Alliance de Congo, or ABACO for short, led to a much more nationalistic movement, particularly among the Evalves. ABACO called for a much more centralized state run by the Congolese and the Belgians out. After some riots led by the Evalves in the late 50s, Belgium realized that they could not hold down the Congo anymore and let them go, with ABACO taking control of the country in June 1960, and independence was given. After all of those years of hardship under a brutal king and then a brutal colonial
I can guess they probably got like a terrible leader that didn't fucking help.
regime, the Congo can finally start to grow, right? Not exactly. Remember that whole thing about ABACO wanting a highly centralized state? Well, the Congo was not meant for that. Its population was very rural and ethnically confused. Most regions could have acted like different countries if they wanted to. Plus, who will be the ones in charge of this new Congo? The people there have only seen how the elite use their power to get rich, and maybe they want to try a taste of that. So post-independence, there is massive instability and fighting for who gets to centralize this incredibly decentralized state. In addition, when the Belgians left, they brought their workers with them. Not a big deal, right? Well, it was, because the Belgians worked in the government. In fact, only 3 out of 5,000 government workers were Congolese.
Nigga, it's their country. How the f is that possible? Yo, that's like going to an American job and f***ing imagine this same shit. Niggas heard this, they'd be like, bro, what? Oh, hell no, we got a problem.
The rest were Belgian. And out of 20 million people in the Congo, the number who graduated from a university was 16.
Bro.
No, just 16. So when the Belgians left, they basically took the government and education with them. It's a miracle how the Congo even exists today. It almost collapsed right after independence.
Stuff like this just pisses me off. Like, the reason why I keep thinking this, bro, because I've been seeing, like, niggas say this, bro. Like, I don't know why, bro. People been like, oh, yeah, nah, like, just look at Africa, bro. They're so uneducated, this and that. And then they don't know any of this history. Like, they got exploited, all the money from it, and all the education swiped away and dipped. Then they fucking moved on, bro. Then now you gotta rebuild from this shit within, I guess, like, 80 years. However much time it was.
Through many coups,
Evil
civil
work.
violence, and rebel groups calling for their own independence. But by 1965, power was consolidated through one man and his party, Mobutu Sese Seko.
I'm gonna guess bro was a dictator. I'm gonna guess.
Mobutu did what
Let's see.
all the other leaders of the Congo had done, extract the wealth. While the Congolese suffered, Mobutu was renting out private planes and buying
course.
castles on his trips to Europe.
Of course.
Any foreign company wanting to set up operations in the Congo had to give him, personally, a little slice of their income. He did this by nationalizing mining companies and using the import substitution industrialization the Belgians used, having massive control over the economy. Right after he took power,
Bro, I'm gonna be real, bro. I'd rather have a motherfucking an American like try to set up a fucking better government, bro, than these corrupt ass African leaders at this point. These niggas just can never do the fucking job, bro. They're always ending up as dictators or corrupt in some type of way. Now, the thing is that probably wouldn't work because, like, people wouldn't even trust another government coming in. And also, it'd probably get exploited too anyways by that. But, like, dude, these leaders, bro, I don't know what can change. I don't know. There's only, like, maybe a couple of good leaders on, like, one hand that can actually manage the country's right and help the people.
he radically changed the country in another
real,
way
I could do
too.
better?
He started the Zairean.
Bro, deadass, anybody here could do better.
Congo. The Congo changed its name to Zaire. In fact, everyone had to change their name to African names away from French names. Zaire was a dictatorship based off of extraction for Mobutu and his friends' personal gain. The rulers distributed their money pool to loyalists, family, or the military rather than spending
Hopefully
it
young
on
leaders will
infrastructure or
rise.
institutions for the people. And this whole nationalization process just took the mines and plantations of the old colonial elite and gave it to Mobutu allies, making a new elite. Now, foreign investors were very discouraged from Zaire and took their money away, which led to a loss of business and massive shortages of food. Also, in 1974, when the price of copper, a key ingredient in the Zairean economy, collapsed, so did the economy, with purchasing power in 1979, only 4% of that in 1960. It got so bad that they had to ask some old business owners who fled the country to please come back. By the 90s, GDP was still on the decline with awful infrastructure, corruption, no openness, and property rights not protected. In fact, per capita income halved between 1990 and 2000, and hyperinflation made $1 equal to 110 million.
Yo, imagine pulling out 110 million, bro, to buy a chocolate bar. Be like, ah, chocolate bar. All right, hold on. Let me go ahead and get the wheelbarrow.
Zairean Zaire.
The currency called Zairean Zaires. Oh my god.
But this was likely due to the spillover of the Rwandan genocide into Zaire, causing rebels to get some ideas, leading to the First Congo War from 1996 to 1997. The Second Congo War started a year later, this time with the entire country involved, as a result of the broken economy and society formed under Zairean rule. It involved tons of foreign African countries funding different rebel groups and was essentially just decentralized chaos throughout the entire nation. 3 million people died, with millions homeless, hungry, and the little infrastructure the now DRC had was destroyed. It was the largest war ever since World War II, ending in 2003. From 2003 onwards, the DRC has been trying to recover with democracy, zoning industries, international economic missions, and improving their extractive sectors, perhaps with the aid of China. Still though, like most of their history...
See, that's the thing, bro. I think China's... Bro, they're setting up, like, they're going to, like, a lot of African countries and, like, helping them. And then they're setting up with, like, shit. And then America hasn't done that, bro. That's one of the ways, like, China's, like, taking advantage of shit, bro. Because eventually, once these countries, if they do get proper leadership and everything and build themselves up, bro, then they have, like, crazy connections with China and shit. And then, bro, bro, that's bad looks for America, bro. They're not gonna want to work with your ass if you didn't help them. Well, no, they're gonna work with them, but like I'm saying, they'll give more of an advantage to like China. China's grooming African countries. They definitely know what they're doing, bro. No doubt, bro. They know what they're fucking doing. They're not stupid. They're literally trying to set themselves up to be the best. And you know, fair to them. I mean, shit. America could have done that. Other countries could have done that, but they didn't really choose to, bro.
Unrest, rebels, and extraction plague the modern Congo, and it's likely not going to get any better. These rebel groups will only grow in power as the Congo will get more people, 194 million by 2050 and 362 million by 2100. So like the rest of their history, expect the future of the Congo to be dark. The Congo has always been a society plagued by extraction of its abundant resources. Its pre-colonial self was one where the king would take any extra production you made, and if you didn't accept that, would literally sell you instead. Its colonial self was one where foreign powers would extract as much stuff and labor as they possibly could out of the country, not really caring about how it would affect the future of the nation. And its post-colonial self was one where rebel groups have been fighting to take control of the only power structure they knew, with a new elite taking over. The Congo has always been curbed by its rulers and
they don't have a leader that'll like fight and then take over and then just like help the people, bro. Like nobody there want to help the people.
Unfortunately,
damn,
there's not much you can do to undo 500 years of their miserable history.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. It could be helped. It could change around, right? It's happened to countries. It was a good video. Yeah, man. If you're watching on the 2, make sure to join the Discord and watch the streams.
Subscribe to Tommy NFG.